I would have never tried that first drug. Whenever somebody tried, it's pretty good, man. You stay up all day and all night, and you got plenty of energy. And I tried it, and it was exactly what they said. Which, it gets worse and worse. It's never as good as the first thing. You know what I mean? And one's too many and 1,000's not enough is what they say, and that's true. The hardest part about getting clean was taking the first step. The first step of, okay, we know this is what we want, and we know what we have to do it, but it's just, let's do it. I wanted to be in the Marine Corps, and I did that. I was in there for 3 years, stationed down the road here in Camp Pendleton. I was a combat engineer, or just another extension of my construction skills, Went on to get into farm work back home, and then whenever I got a break, I went into the oil field. Oil field's big in Oklahoma. You got to do stuff right, or that's big equipment, and it's messing with lots of weights and lots of power, and it's easy to get hurt. It was, it didn't matter the weather. It didn't matter how hot it was, if it was snowing, if it was raining, if it was icing. That iron could be moving, from a dead stop, be moving 100 miles an hour for a short distance. And if you're in that big piece of metal is moving 3 feet and then does it from just like that, it could break you in half. And I was working in Oklahoma. We worked 7 days on, 7 days off.
What do you call this house?
This is it's like a sober living house. I ended up, work hard, play hard, and that turned into having an addiction. And the addiction really wore on my life, and wore on my friends, wore on my family. And I'm 59 years old now, and I just don't have time anymore to waste my time. And the addiction is a 24/7. And I've been clean for 6 months, and I'm enjoying the clean life. I really like Southern California. It's a great program that I'm in, and now I have moved up in the program to where I don't spend all day doing the classes and stuff, and I need to go to work now because it's that time. Well, yes, it was very common in the oil field because, like I said, work hard, play hard, and the oil field is pretty much a younger man's game, because it's got to be tough to do it. I drank hard, you know what I mean? And I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in years. It was just a phase, but the drugs is what led me here to get away from them, to get clean from them, and to find a new, better life. I had a motorcycle, pickup, car, house, and I ended up selling off my pickup and my motorcycle and let my house go to come out here because I knew I needed to get away from the people, places, and things. I hope to be able to come into a well-paying job and something that is going to be long-term, that I can spend the next 10 years, 15 years doing. I'm 59 now, I'm getting older, but I'm not over with. My story is my story, and there's no changing it. It is what it is, and all I can do is try to improve on it every day. I like to work outside. I'm not real big on working inside, but I have worked in manufacturing plants like Halliburton Machine Shop. I was Eastern Seaboard superintendent for New Era Integrated.
So can you tell me about how you grew up, where you grew up?
I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, Marlow, Oklahoma. Wasn't a whole lot going on there, small town life, work on farms and construction. I graduated high school there.
And what was life like as a kid for you?
It was pretty good. Had a good girlfriend, and I guess it was just average small town America. I grew up with a mom and dad. Normally, we didn't do without anything. We was never rich, you know. I learned back then, if you want something, you gotta work for it. And, that's pretty much the way life in a small town is.
And when you were younger, what did you want to be in your life when you grew up?
Well, I wanted to be in the Marine Corps, and I did that.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, and I was in there for 3 years, stationed down the road here in Camp Pendleton. I was a combat engineer, and so that's, you know, just another extension of my construction skills, you know. I only stayed in for 3 years, and then I got out and went on to get into farm work back home, and then whenever I got a break, I went into the oil field. Oil field's big in Oklahoma.
And was that your plan, or did it just happen?
It just happened. A friend of mine was drilling for Helmerich and Payne, which is a international drilling company, and he called me up one day and said, "Hey, I need a hand. You want to go to work?" I said, "Sure," you know. So I went and did went down and had a one-day school there at the office in Oklahoma City, and from there, the next day, I was on the rig. Yeah.
Can you talk about like what a regular day would be on the road?
Well, you get up and have a safety meeting. When you get there, you have a safety meeting, 30-minute safety meeting, right off the bat. And, you know, you have to always make sure that you've got your right PPE, hard hat, steel-toed boots, FRCs, you know, flame retardant clothing. And you just had to listen to what was going on and listen to the people, because, you know, you gotta do stuff right, or you know, that's big equipment, and it's messing with lots of weights and lots of power, and it's easy to get hurt.
What was the toughest part working that job?
The toughest part was, a lot of people said tripping pipe, you know, when you had to come out of the hole and change bits or something like that. I got to work in derrick, so I stayed up on the boards up in the derrick, pulling back pipe and latching it up for it to go back in the hole. But I always thought the roughest part was probably rig move.
It's a tough job. How did this job affect you, like physically and emotionally?
Well, whenever I got to drilling, we worked on an old diesel electric rig, and it was swinging blocks. So yeah, the driller stayed out there on the floor to run the brake handle, right there by where the action's at. I never did get to sit in the cabin and run a joystick like they do now. But it was, you know, it didn't matter the weather. It didn't matter how hot it was, if it was snowing, if it was raining, if it was icing. If it was icing too bad, they might stop and circulate and send people up on hoist to beat ice off of the derrick, you know, because falling ice could really hurt you.
Were there any close calls that you had?
No, not really, because I've always been real cautious, and I do listen. You know, when somebody says, you know, hey, this is something that's going to go like this, and this is, you know, and just knowing body placement, where to be at on the floor when certain things are happening. That way, you're not in the way of moving iron, because you know that iron could be moving, you know, from a dead stop, be moving at 100 miles an hour. For a, you know, short distance, and if you're in that big piece of metal that's moving 3 feet and then does it from just like that, you know, it could break you in half.
Did it affect your personal life, like friends, family?
Well, yes and no, because you know, when I was working in Oklahoma, we worked 7 days on, 7 days off, 12-hour days. And then, 12 and a half, because you're safety meeting every morning. And so, you know, I had a whole week there of free time. And we got to do a lot of stuff, family-oriented stuff like that I wouldn't have been able to do on just a regular job, because, you know, how do you go have a good camping weekend if you got to, you know, you on a schedule and you've got this short little allotment of time to do it in. We could spend a whole week doing it, you know. And it really made for tightening up the family.
What do you call this house?
This is it's like a sober living house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did that become a part of your life?
Well,
Was it while you were working in the oil fields, or?
No, it happened after that. I ended up, work hard, play hard, and that turned into having an addiction. And the addiction really wore on my life and wore on my friends, wore on my family. And I'm 59 years old now, and I just don't have time anymore to waste my time. And the addiction is a 24/7 thing, And I've been out here almost 6 months now, and I've been clean for 6 months, and I'm enjoying the clean life. I really like Southern California. I was out here back in the 80s when I was in the Marine Corps, and I've come back out here, and I love it. And I love all the people that I meet, and through the center and stuff where I go to do classes and things like that, to learn about addiction and how to be addiction free. It's a great program that I'm in, and now I have moved up in the program to where I don't spend all day doing the classes and stuff, and I need to go to work now because it's that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proud of you, by the way. Proud of you. I know you said it started after the oil fields, but was it common in the oil fields to have?
Oh yes, it was very common in the oil field because, like I said, work hard, play hard, and the oil field is pretty much a younger man's game, because it's got to be tough to do it. And I drank hard, you know what I mean? And I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in years. It was just a phase, but the drugs is what led me here to get away from them, to get clean from them, and to find a new, better life.
And when did you realize that it was becoming a problem?
Well, whenever I started and losing friends because they were addicts too, and once you've got an addiction, you really can't have a friend. Have acquaintances and people you use. I had a motorcycle, pickup, car, house, and I ended up selling off my pickup and my motorcycle and let my house go to come out here because I knew I needed to get away from the people, places, and things that kept me there, and I think I picked the right place out here to come to.
What was the moment that made you decide to get here?
Well, I've been divorced, I've been single, and I've been seeing this gal, and it was very rocky, and I really cared for the girl, and she cared for me, but we were both doing drugs, and that it made it to where you couldn't really actually be trusting or trust somebody, and we both knew that if we wanted to have a life together, that we needed to be clean to do it. So that's when that right there is what made me decide to come out here, and she come out here with me, and we've both been clean for, like I said, getting close to 6 months now. Yeah.
And what was it like living in a single home?
There's structure. You have your chores you have to do every day, and it's just really relearning good life skills. You really got to have that. In the drug world, there's no life skills. It's day to day. Try to keep people from robbing you, and it's just not a healthy lifestyle.
And what's been the hardest part about getting clean?
The hardest part about getting clean was taking the first step. The first step of, okay, we know this is what we want, and we know what we have to do it, it's just, let's do it, and that was the hardest part right there. was just stepping away from Oklahoma, the people, places, and things, and coming out here, you know, with the mindset that, yeah, we're going to do this and make it work.
Some of these questions, okay, I'll just ask, is there anything that you miss from your old life before you got sober?
I miss the distance from family. I mean, because, you know, I'm a long way from family, and we didn't get along very good then while I was on drugs, but now that I'm clean and sober, you know, we get along great, but we just don't get to see each other because there's such a distance between us.
So when you look back at your time in the oil fields, how do you feel about it now? Was it worth it?
Oh yes, it was. It was a great life experience. I learned a lot in the oil field, and it's a lot of skills that will go to other areas. You know, that and the big deal. One of the big deals there is always be there on time. You know, you've got to be there. And if you're not going to be there, when the tool pusher comes out of his room into the safety meeting, if you're not there, you're late, you know, and they don't go for being late because no telling what could be happening. It could be something bad happening in the hole, and they got to have every hand on deck to control a well. And if you're late, you know, you're not needed.
If you could go back and change anything about your life, what would it be?
I would have. I would have never tried that first drug. When somebody tries, it's pretty good, man. You stay up all day and all night, and you got plenty of energy. And I tried it, and it was exactly what they said. Which, you know, it gets worse and worse. You know, it's never as good as the first thing. You know what I mean? And you know, one's too many and 1,000's not enough is what they say, and that's true.
What do you think people don't understand about addiction when you come in?
Addiction is something you'll have to live with for the rest of your life. But if you choose, it's whether you choose to be active in that addiction or active in the treatment of it. And I don't choose to be active in the addiction. I choose to be active in the treatment of it. And it's part of my life, and I'm not scared to sit here and let people know, you know, that, you know, it's an uphill battle, and every day is a new day, and you got to start over every day with telling yourself, I'm not going to use today. I'm going to be productive.
What advice would you give to someone working in the oil fields who's going through what you went through?
When you get off work, go to the bunkhouse, get you a shower or something to eat, and get you some sleep because you're going to need it. Don't go and close down the bar, you know, because that's where everything, it makes you not as alert on the job, and you have to be alert to everything going on around you, or you might not make it off the job that day.
Moving forward, what do you hope for your future now that you're recovered?
Well, I hope to be able to come into a well-paying job and something that is going to be long-term, that I can spend the next 10 years, 15 years doing. You know, I'm 59 now, I'm getting older, but I'm not over with. You know, I've still got plenty of life left in me.
How do you stay motivated to stay, you know, clean from life gets done?
Because I look back on my life before and realize that everything that I'd done was all null and void because I never kept anything. I never kept people, estranged people. But now that I'm not using drugs anymore, people actually want to be around me. I like to be around people, and I like to help other people that was in the position that I was in to get away from it. You know, if it's nothing more than just talking to them. I go to regular meetings in the evenings, you know, AA and NA both. And if there's anything that my experiences that I can share with somebody else that'll keep them from using one more day, I think I've hit a home run.
That makes sense. If someone's watching this, what's the most important thing you want them to know about your story?
my story is my story, and there's no changing it. It is what it is, and all I can do is try to improve on it every day.
And you said you're looking for work, right? What type
Yeah.
of?
Well, I like to work outside. I'm not real big on working inside, but I have worked in manufacturing plants like Halliburton Machine Shop. I've worked on, like I said, out in the oil field. I've worked on many different types of construction jobs. I've laid concrete, I've framed, I've finished, I've roofed, I did every kind of roofing there is, I believe. I've done lots of single-ply roof on the East Coast in Virginia, in West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, and North Carolina. Yeah, I was Eastern Seaboard Superintendent for New Era Integrated, which is a roofing and solar company. We'd set up the solar arrays on roofs. We'd roof placing and set up solar arrays. I run a crew of Hispanics, which I don't know why I still can't speak Spanish, but I don't. But I was able to, when you're working with somebody that's working in the same field that you are, language is not really a barrier, because if both of you know what you're doing, then it's easy to let them know what you want without actually having to verbalize it, And I enjoy that work. It's fulfilling.
You did mention that you were looking to get into crane operating, right?
Yeah, I've been kicking that around real hard here lately. I've done checked into the schools and it's just a couple of weeks school to work on a fixed cab, a rotating cab, and but for like the tower cranes and stuff like that, it's another 3-week school, which isn't long, but if you already have, I've worked around cranes, especially in the oil field when we was setting up rig and tearing down the rig, about every 30 days, worked with cranes and crane operators and other heavy equipment. I went to heavy equipment operator school in Arizona back in the 80s, so, I'm real familiar with working with and around machinery.
All you need is opportunity.
That's it.
Okay. Back to the oil fields, like what was the pay like in the oil fields back then and today?
Well, I really don't know what the pay is like today, but I'm sure it's real well. Back in 2010, I was working derricks making $28 an hour. And it's like I said, it was 7/12s with every day a half-hour safety meeting, so it's 12 and a half hours a day. Our first 38 hours was regular time, and then everything above that was time and a half. So, I was pulling down, when the rig was close to the house and they asked me to work days off sometimes, there was 2 years I pulled down $85,000 a year, and my wife works too, so I'm not even including that. But so the oil field they paid a good wage.
To give you, motorcycle house.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was plenty enough to live comfortable. Yeah.
And would you ever go back to the oil fields?
Yes, I could, but like I said, I'm 59 years old. I don't have the strength and things that I did, when I was in my 20s and 30s or even my 40s. But yeah, I wouldn't mind going back into there as in a different classification job, like safety, rock hound, which is geology, which is they pull samples up out of the hole, so you tell them what formations they're in, and you map out the hole, as to what formation, what kind of rock you're hitting, so that way they know whenever they're getting into oil-bearing rock or gas-bearing rock, and it's.
Okay. Do you have one crazy story from the oil fields that you can share?
Let's see. A crazy story from oil field. Every day was pretty much crazy in the oil field. But I used to like whenever it'd be time to get off the tower and I'd be up in the derrick, we'd be pulling back pipe or something like that, and I kind of like to they have a zip line for, in case of, the wells going bad and you're having a blowout or something like that, so you can get out of the derrick, a zip line that runs out to the edge of the location. I'd get all unharnessed and everything from your belly rope and get over there and jump on the zip line and shoot down there real quick, and they'll be all looking up there, man, hurry up, come down. And I come walking up the stairs, saying, I'm already down, where y'all at,
Yeah, that's good. Last final question.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to share, either about your life, about the oil fields, anything in general?
Well, I've worked hard pretty much all of my life, and I still have the mindset of, I want to get out there and work hard, but I need to work hard in a different way. I need to work hard in more of some kind of managerial position or something like that, because I've got a lot of knowledge of a lot of different things. Pretty much everything's construction though, whether it be, an oil field or residential housing or roofing or whatever, I've got a lot of knowledge in it, and I think I could be a good part in somebody that's got a company that wants somebody that's dedicated and is going to be there to help make sure that they put out the best product possible.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, Jeffrey. Hopefully somebody out there can, give you an opportunity to keep in contact. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you.
All right. Sounds good.